ay. We're back, baby. We're back.
We're back, man. Hope everybody's doing all right. I hope you guys are having a blessed week. And let's get right to it, man. How's everything going with you, man?
Man, it's going good, staying busy. I felt like practices already kicked off. We're getting ready to start playing and man, practices we've been going hard. For those guys that don't know us, man, Victor and I, man, people have been talking to me about Victor, and people have talked to Victor about me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, I need to call this guy. I need to really see like what it's all about. And man, Victor, from the moment we connected out there in Starbucks in South Lake,
Yes.
I feel like everything came alive.
I remember I told my wife. My wife was like, "Hey, don't make any decisions." It's like, all right. And man, in the middle of the conversation, I remember I told you, enough said, man. When do we get started, man? And I remember I called her and she goes, "You told him yes, did you?" And she was like, I was like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" She was like, "I just felt it." So it's exciting, man. It's exciting times for us. I do want to ask, man, and a lot of people have asked me, man, and sensitive subject, though.
Hey, leave me alone. Man, you get at me. I'm coming back for you.
I know you're coming back, but man,
easy, man,
look, what everybody want to know: what happened with Furia? Why did you, why did you make that decision, man? Like, why did you?
Man, I will never, use the platform to, to speak negatively. I love what they're doing, and it's not just Furia, man. It's my own brother, and man, it was a tough decision. We coached 4 years from the moment I got here from Louisiana, and what most people don't know is I was doing the same thing that I was doing now here. I was doing it there, so it's not something brand new. And I knew the moment will come where, of course I needed the stability for my family, be able to control my own schedule. And I just wanted to incorporate my own vision, nothing wrong with the vision that they have in mind. I felt like they're in a good place, they're growing and I'm excited for what they got going on over there, man. I will use my platform to lift them up, because they're great. I met some great people, some great coaches, and it was not an easy decision. I felt like I needed to just focus on the vision that I have, that is baseball and ministry, and with Stickfire, I'm able to do that. It's not just a place where we're teaching the game; it's also ministry for me. And what most people don't know, this is a secret, man.
Share?
I was a pastor for 5 years.
Oh yeah.
For 5 years, I led students into Christ, and I had some tough decision. Went through a divorce, and then kind of ministry got pushed to the side, and I got here. My brother received me with open arms, and I started, working on his vision. And, man, we did that, man. We did everything we could to, be where they want to be right now. And, we wish them the best. I will always
shout out to Chavi right there.
Yes, sir. Big bro. And, man, I learned so much from him, man, growing up, I really didn't have our dad was not very involved into baseball. So it was him and I all the time, and a lot of the things that I know is because of him.
So I got to ask you, who's the better catcher? Who has a better arm?
Okay, let me tell you, Chavi has a freaking cannon.
Oh, yeah?
But he's taller. And, tall catchers have a hard time moving. And I always told him that. Catching-wise, I probably felt like I was more fundamental stable, but hitting, bro, that guy can hit. I couldn't hit in my life. I hit in high school. And I hit a little bit in minor league, but, man, when I got to Pro Bowl, it was another animal. Catching is what kept me alive in Pro Bowl, because hitting was not there. But enough about me, bro. Okay? You were in a tougher spot. Okay, you coach for the New York Mets. Okay, what in the world happened? Now you're here, like, man. First of all, you felt like maybe it's something that you did. You felt like your time was up. They didn't renew the contract. Like, what happened?
like you said, I'm not here to speak negative about anybody over there. I think ultimately, um, my philosophy probably didn't line up with what they wanted to accomplish. Um, you can respect that. Um, when when they when I did get the call, all they said was like they want to move a different direction, and that's fine. I mean, hey, you got to respect what they say. You can't really question their decision, but the work was there. I mean, the proofs in the pudding, like they said, right? So like we hit, we hit. We had guys to move up to high A. Ultimately, they felt like probably that was the decision. Now, I am going to share this because I don't think that was true at all. Later on, I find out that one of the reasons why they let me go was my lack of work ethic. And when I heard that, I was like, what does that mean? Were you willing to basically, so in a whole year that I was there, so you didn't feel like it was important for you to correct me and say, hey, man, we need you to pick it up? So basically, you left me out there in the island by myself and say, hey, okay, you're going to let yourself. But I had some great experiences there. I made some great friendships. I made some huge connections. And
Bro,
ultimately,
you won a ring. I
I
mean,
did.
man, like that thing is freaking nice.
It was.
And but now the transition, dude, the
Ooh.
transition from coaching in a professional environment to now making the transition to coach youth
Youth.
baseball where nobody, kids don't listen, first of all. What you teach might be too complex for them to understand.
Ooh.
But not just that, like just think about the how you felt as a person, that you felt less value.
Oh, 100. You, what do you, I mean, you work so hard for that dream. And for anybody that says that after you're done playing, you don't want to coach at the highest level, that's a lie. Everybody wants to do that. So when you don't, when you get there and so easily taken away,
Yeah.
you you start self evaluating yourself and like,
Yeah.
and you start questioning the same things you question me. Did I do a good on the job? Did I communicate well enough? There's all sorts of things of shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But ultimately, like I said, we hit, and I don't know if there's a stat out there, but I know that at least 13 players went on, or the original group of the 2023 St. Lucie Mets, they went on to high A. I don't, nothing else I could say that, hey, nothing was done. We
Man,
won.
you can tell that it still get to you, man. Do you feel like and I'll come back on you, but um like I'm sure you miss it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now the question is, what's the next phase? I mean, do you see yourself, maybe spending more time at home? You have a younger player that, of course, he wants dad around,
Yeah.
or you still wanna, if you get the opportunity to go back, will you take it, or will this time maybe it hits a little different since your kids are getting older?
I I will listen. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I think that you want to be able to provide for your family.
Yeah.
It's tough because you're not at home. Um, what made it very good for us was that our kids were at homeschool, so they were able to spend a lot of time with me when I was over there in Florida. Uh man, I we became we gave our life to God, in 2017 when my daughter was born. I can honestly say that it's a transition period per se in the last 2 years that I've been out of pro ball. So all I can tell you is that God's gonna provide His way.
Yeah, man.
And look, do everybody, nobody? I don't think nobody can say that like that if we get an offer for a pro job, like you wouldn't think about it. So if it comes, yeah. If it don't, then it's all good.
Man, I feel like everything that is happening right now, man, it's all coming together for something great.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
first of all, we met. You always had in your heart doing something like this.
Yes.
Now you're doing it.
Yes.
And, I feel like, yes, it's a dream of us to maybe, get a call to go play again or go coach again. But man, just looking at your surroundings and where you're at right now in life, and it's like, man, I could live with this. And it'll take some time. It took some time for me to realize that, man, there was something better for me to do other than baseball. But it took a while. And I tell you, when I got called into the office that I was getting released that morning, man, here I am. I get to the clubhouse, put my uniform together, go hit some balls, go catch a bullpen. I'm coming back after early work. And previously in spring training, that when one of the assistant to the general manager comes in, man, everybody's like, buckle up.
Bud gets his tight.
Oh! And on the previous day, man, they let go of my roommate. And I was like, oh, like this just happened.
That's real.
And to me, he had a great season. But I guess they were not, he's been there for quite a bit. So I guess they were opening room for somebody else to come in. So that hurt because in spring training, you make friends with everybody. But they told me, don't make friends with nobody in spring training because somebody's going home.
You really can't have feelings towards, it's hard. I'll tell you right now, and I'll share this story. And all the guys that know with the New York Mets that were there know I had a soft spot for this kid, Carlos Dominguez. Man, my family just took him like he just came one of my family, to be honest. And he was so, like, you could tell, like, he's very passionate about the game, very head mental case. Like, he needed that. And man, I remember when after the season, and man, I cried, and I was like, but honestly, you just can't have those feelings because just like that, you're done. Boom, you're done.
Man, I'm sitting in my chair, Victor. I'm sitting there, taking my gear off, and about to go eat breakfast. And here comes the assistant guy, Pizarro.
We need to talk.
And all my buddies were like,
oh man, here we go.
And man, I put my head down. And man, I had so many mixed emotions. I don't even know what the meeting was going to be about, but in my mind, I'm like, bro, this is it.
This is it.
So here I am walking. I feel like it was probably the longest walk to that office. So many flashbacks. Walking back, I'm sitting there. My manager's there. The big guy is there. And of course, they start talking all the great things you're doing. And then when the but comes, that's when
The but or however. The but or however.
But or however, I knew that was it. And man, I got let go that day. And they were like, man, we could find you. You're a good player. We could find you an independent team that you can go and play, try to make a comeback. But with the Angels, you're not. That's not it. And, I went back to my locker and while I'm cleaning my locker, I'm like, man, I wish I could have done things differently. Should I went and caught more bullpens on, hit more, did more early works, like to kept me alive, kept my hitting going. But by that time, it was too late. I'm picking up all my stuff and I get on my car and man, all my buddies came and hugged me and they love on me. And man, it didn't hit me until probably it was a long hour. It was long 15 hours from Arizona to Louisiana. And it didn't hit me until like probably 3 or 4 hours down the road that man, I just broke down. I broke down because I did not know what I was going to do next. I felt like baseball was it. And now I had to go find a regular job. And you will not believe, Victor, what was the job that I went and took afterwards.
Go ahead.
I was cleaning toilets at
Mm.
a church.
Mm.
I was pretty much, what do you call those people that, the one that cleans the schools.
Janitor? A janitor?
A janitor. I was a janitor.
Yeah.
So I went from putting autographs on baseball to putting my autographs on toilets, man. And now I went from a place where, man, I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't want to do baseball, and
Because you become bitter, right? You become.
I was bitter.
You don't.
I was
wanna
mad.
Know, you don't want. And like you see social media, and like back like, you always say like, oh, I'm not gonna look at it, but you always do. Like it didn't hit me until the next spring training, and I was like, man, like, damn, I ain't going to spring training.
Man.
This sucks.
Usually by this time, I'm getting my stuff together.
Yes, that's
I mean,
how-
I still have the feeling till this day. Catchers report early, right?
Mhm.
So, I was getting there late February or beginning of February. And usually around that time, I'm like, I get anxious. And it's been a while, man. I got done playing in 2014, I believe. 2014, 2015. And it's been a while, but the feeling's still there. And when I tell you that I felt lost with no identity, it was true. But you know where I found my identity? In Christ. I found my identity in Christ because, man, this lady came and prayed for me and told me baseball is not who you were. That was
Mm.
not it. And the same thing I tell you, coaching professional baseball, that's something that you did. That's not what Victor is. Victor can probably reach more people doing this right now
Yes.
than what you could ever reach coaching out there.
Let me ask you a question, and I hate to. Did you feel like organizations? Did you feel like the Angels did enough for you? Did you feel like they let me out there stranded? Like I was like,
I was a late round pick, and those guys out there that
the
know
$10,000 signings, huh?
Actually, it was a little more than that, but I ain't gonna tell you. People may rob me. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
But the thing is that being a late pick, you know this. Those guys don't get a lot of attention.
You don't have a chance.
Most likely, if you are in the first round picks, you know that hitting coach is gonna be hanging with you all the
Hey,
time.
buddy.
Hey, what's up, man? Those late round picks, nobody cares, and that was me. I felt like I had to push myself. I had to be the guy going to the guy, hey man, can y'all work with me? Why? Because I had to come from me. Those top rounders, no, man. Those hitting coaches or coordinators are actually going to them, asking hey, y'all want to hit? Those late rounders, oh man.
Because we in all the conversations that me and you had, the one thing that I felt that you and I shared was that we need to be in the same page.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, I don't think when I was with the Mets we're on the same page. There wasn't, and that was the one thing that did bother me. It wasn't that it was like, it wasn't the fact that you let me go. It was just like, okay, what do you want me to teach? Oh, nothing. Okay, let me teach this way. Oh, we don't like it that way. So you don't want to help me, but then when I'm doing it and it's showing results, you don't like it.
Mm.
So
It has to be what they want.
yeah, so
It makes it hard these days
Oh.
to even coach in a higher level like that because everything is so control. They need to have control of everything, and nothing against what they're doing. I still talk with my catching coordinator. I still talk with my hitting guy, with my with the actually the big league pitching coach for the Angels. Anytime I go to the Angels come here and Texas Rangers go, I see him, man. He'll be in the bullpen and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And we talk. He still remember me. And to
Yeah.
me, man, it was great. The worst part is when guys that were in spring training with you through extended spring training, they have made it, and you like one of them do at the game. He was in the bullpen. It's like, what's up, dude? I call him by his name. He looked at me and he was like he didn't even recognize me.
Mm.
Like, dude, you were my roommate. Like, how you don't remember me? And to me, that really hurt. That really hurt. But everybody does what they're supposed to, and but man, gather this thing around, man, because at the end of the day, you and I have talked, and I felt like we're in the same page of a lot of things.
Yes.
And I had this vision that I'm bringing to Stickfire, and I share it with you because I wanted to share with somebody that not agree with me, but could jump on the same boat with me in the same mindset that, man, this guy can help me grow this thing. But it starts from the ground up. I feel like many organizations these days, they want to have 10, 12, 14, 15
Yes.
teams.
And teach like they don't teach the same.
Exactly. All coaches are teaching the same thing. So to me, you cannot call yourself an organization when not everyone is organized thinking about the same thing.
Can I look? I'm gonna share this story, and this is where, like I just knew travel baseball was such a problem. A few years back, I was working with this organization. The guys didn't probably know. They know what organization is this. We're at a tryout, and there's this kid that comes in. Kid comes from New Zealand. Great catcher. Seems like, everybody just seems to like him. And there was like four or five teams of the same age at the time. When the trial was over, I mean, every single coach ran over there. Yet I had the best, what I consider was the top team of that age. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Like, why should he not be on the top team? So at that moment, that's where I realized, like, man, there's a problem here. There's a problem. And the problem is, hey, like, more teams, more money. Yeah. That's really what it is. That is what it comes down. Like, hey, more teams, more money. And you can see it throughout the country. You can see it like all these organizations, like we truly care about developing and we care about your child's best interest. Bottom line is this: the organization cares about one top team.
The Pesos, baby.
The Pesos. They care about one team that can go out and play in a perfect game, PG whatever, PG Super IT, and having a chance to win it. And you can go on social media and say you have the best team in the country.
It's that Sunday picture.
Yeah.
It's like people I know parents that get upset because they didn't win a tournament, so now they don't post a picture on Sunday with their kids going, hey, look who you are. Like, man, what in the world, man? You got a collection and you still don't know how to play.
I spoke to, a good friend of mine. He's a hitting director for the Diamondbacks. And I've heard it in the past, but he reiterated real good. And he said, I want my best coaches to be at the lowest levels.
Man.
And why not? Why is that not the same? Like, anybody can take a major player and turn him to I coach so and so and so.
Waters, man.
Man, take a double A granular player and get him to a major level. See if you can do that.
It's not easy because now you gotta spend time.
Yeah.
Now you gotta coach. And man, it's good to have a good team.
No, absolutely.
But man, when you actually had to go down to the very basics, okay, base running, team fundamentals. Man, how many teams or how many practices have you been where man, there's so much standing around. They're literally, they come in, get a few ground balls, will hit, and it's over. And to me, fundamentals are not even being taught anymore.
So I was at a practice. I want to say about 7-8 months ago. I went on a practice, maybe more than that, maybe longer than that, and it was 4 teams in the same field. 4 teams. So you talk about 40, 50 kids.
That's a lot of people.
2 coaches, 6 parents, and then parents that don't know how to hit fungo.
Ow.
My son, we drove an hour for my son to take 9 ground balls. Can you believe it? 9 ground balls. I didn't get to hit, nothing. 9 ground balls. And I'm like, what are we doing?
It come back to this, man. I feel like, and I'm guilty of this because, to me, a coach, before you get to that practice, you have to have your schedule lined up. Of, okay, this is what we're working on. So by the time that you get there, you're not wasting any time. And yes, we know the game. We could get there and just put the best drills out there. But it helps me and it helps you too that, hey, this is the game plan for this practice. This is what we're going to work on. So now we maximize the time that we have where we're not wasting any time. And to me, that's huge. But man, we could talk here hours, about these things. And, we want to reach out more people in more ways that we can. And that's why we're doing this, to talk baseball. To talk, and not just baseball, man. We're going to talk
Just
about
overall.
different topics that are going to help anybody out there listening, grow their skills in baseball and grow your, grow as parents as well, understanding, what players go through.
And that's the thing, what goes through a daily, for us, people don't realize, like yourself, you have a day job, you got,
Yes.
yes, so you got to do things at home, and you got kids at home, and then you got to it's not an easy thing. And that's something that, people don't realize that.
Man, let me tell you this, and I'll finish with this because, and this is to any coach out there that, that, man, you're pouring your heart out for your team, for other kids. It got to a place, and I'm thankful that I have someone in my side that helps me prioritize the time at home.
Is that your roommate?
No, that's my baby, my baby Jackie. So, one thing is that when I get home, my phone, and she's hard on me about that. Say, put the phone down, that's it. Okay, you gave all the energy to these people out there. Now we have to give the same energy or more to your kids at home and me as your my partner. And sometimes as coaches, I've been there, Victor. I've been there that I give so much energy to everyone out there that by the time I get home, I got nothing left.
No, it's tough.
Coaches suffer. There's families that are suffering because coaches want to spend more time out than actually at home. When in reality, man, those kids, those parents are in your life temporarily. Your family, that's permanent, right?
I remember even when I was with the Mets, I remember I got home, and trust me, man, all I want to do was go to sleep. That's it. That's all I had left. I was like, that's all I had.
I'm sure you had an angry lady, man, out there.
I was like, man, all I want to do is go to sleep, man. To be honest, because you in pro ball, you start worrying about it at 12. You're out the door at 12 for a 7:00 game. You're out the door at 12,
man.
And you're like, man, so much stuff. And us as coaches, when do you really start? Man, you start writing lineups Monday for the tournament on Saturday, man, and you're like, man, who
not me, man. All
right,
people that know me, man, I write that lineup before the game, which I need to change that. Man.
I was like,
I need to get better at that.
But I think that people on their values what we do, and
Coaches definitely, man. But as coaches, man, prioritize your time at home. Family's important. Yeah, it's good to spend time with other families at different tournament. But man, I had to force myself. And man, I'm staying home today. I'm staying home. I ain't going to the park. I ain't doing no lessons. I'm staying home. Like, baby, let's go out to eat. Let's go out to a movie. And you got to make that a priority as coaches. And man, we're busybodies. And to me, that's one of the biggest things that's breaking families apart is just being too busy.
And I'll let you, and this is the last thing that I'm going to say about that is whether it's a tournament, whether there's a season, whether there's a practice, whether there's a lesson, you always got to have a time where you reflect. And I have been in positions that I've come home and I'm like, oh, I'm going to give lessons right away. Come from a season, boom, lessons. And you never really have a chance to reflect and like, hey man, like how did this season even went? Like the first, and you don't really appreciate it. Like I was like, and it's part of growing up, it's part of maturity, it's part of as a man, you constantly.
And we understand, man. I mean, we got to make money. We got to be able to provide for our families. Yes. But at the end of the day, what's more important?
Yeah,
man, we're losing so much time with our kids, brother, that we don't realize it. And I hope that, man, these raise some flags out there as you as parents, and maybe you're out there working, or you're a coach. That, man, you spend so much time outside and you don't even spend time at home with the kids that actually need you. Prioritize. We got to be better, and I hope this talk, man, really, raise some flags in your mind, to prioritize things at the house. But man, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
32 bases loaded, man. We can't wait.
Loaded, dog.
La tiripioca. No, but we can't wait. We can't wait for the next one, man.
Anything you want to add before we head out?
Man, we had everybody stay in touch. Special guests. We're gonna have a round table very, very soon, where we're bringing some special guests to, man, just go deeper.
Let me ask you a question. What is the one subject you're looking forward to speaking the most?
Man, there's so many, but why you put me in a spot like that?
Dude, come on now.
I feel like, is it really important right now, for parents to really spend all that money these days in travel?
Man, I can't wait to talk about hitting.
Oh my God. I love hitting, and I know. We can't wait for hitting.
I can't wait for hitting, man.
We should talk about catching, man. That's my thing.
Like, come on now.
But it's coming. And man, stay in touch. We have some special guests coming very soon that, man, what they're going to share is going to, blow off.
And kids are like, hey, we're going to have some talented kids coming out here and spend some time with us, and we want to get to know them. We want to get to know what they do on the daily basis. Like, how do you manage multi-sport athletes or scholar athletes? How do you manage?
Man, I like that.
School and to go home and take care of your body and weights and
there's a lot homework. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
peer pressure. In school. Those kids making the transition from middle school to high school.
Or elementary to middle school.
That's a big one. So stay in touch, man. That is all coming up.
Yes, sir.
But once again, man, we love you guys. We can't wait, to put this out there, in every, social media platform we can, because we want to get to you.
Yes,
all righty?
Sir.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Yes, sir.